Hello there.
Hello there.
General Kenobi!
We're the makers of Bucketheads Transferred Pictures. I'm Marco Basso.
I'm Andy Brown.
And today we're going to be doing a director's commentary on our 2018 fan short film, Bucketheads.
That's right. So without further ado, here we go.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Have to have that.
Yes, the Rogue One kind of cold opening here.
Yeah.
Rogue One inspired.
We did very much conceptualize this short right after watching Rogue One, and I loved how instead of doing the whole title crawl, it just went right into it.
Yes, agreed.
Especially for a short film, you don't really want to waste time on long opening crawls, I feel.
Truth. Getting right into the action here. This was actually additional photography that we ended up shooting after we'd shot out, the primary bit of Bucketheads.
That's right. We just thought that never seeing our characters' faces until the very end sort of prevented people from being able to emotionally connect to them. So we came up with a new segment that intros the characters right off the top. And this is a practical set that our production designer, Anthony Vanny, built in something like 2 weekends.
Yeah, it was pretty darn quick. It was an L wall, actually. So there's only 2 sides to this wall, and we made it work. It worked fantastically. I think it did a pretty good job of ratcheting the tension right off the bat.
It absolutely did. And in the wider angles here, you can see Steve Davey in the background. He's one of our 501st Garrison members. And on the day, we were just thinking of what we could give him, and somebody had some bubble gum on him, so we
made him chew bubble gum.
Like a badass.
as badasses do. Love the sound design over the crash here and everything. I always thought that was a really exceptional way of painting the crash. We wanted to do it full on, but being that we're a short film and a small budget, we couldn't actually show the crash full on. So this is a toy miniature, a practical toy miniature that we scanned and then did some visual effects touch-ups with.
Yep.
So this is the all the great sound design that Matt Ryan came up with.
Yeah, he actually worked on the original Battlefront game.
Yes, he did. Another fun fact here, the ship you see in this shot, we did shoot the physical toy ship that we were using, but the perspective didn't work out quite right, so in post it was used more like reference footage, and that's a digital ship that our visual effects guys put in there. And
some of the debris pieces you see here are actual physical jet plane wings.
Fighter wings, yeah, fighter jet wings.
This particular shot, real quick, we achieved that with lens whacking. We didn't have what's called a lens baby, so we just handheld our anamorphic lenses in front of our camera sensor to achieve this very fickle, shallow depth of field.
Yeah.
Oh, this wide shot.
Yes, always
something to look at.
Yes, a lot of good visual effects in the opening.
The only regret was that we couldn't do real practical fire because of the restrictions at the time. It was in the middle of a drought, so we couldn't. Funny enough, they wouldn't allow us to do actual real fire in the forest.
Yeah, we had it all lined up, but it cost a lot to get the fire department out, so unfortunately we could not.
Also, love that shot where the stormtroopers step on that little flower.
This was a particularly fun one to do too. This is about 50 feet of dolly track. You always want to get some longer shots in your films and things, not have everything be quick cuts. So this was a really fun dolly tracking shot, and it does a really good job of blending sort of the background element and letting them fall out of the scene as we incorporate a new element, which is also Steve Davey, the badass bubblegum chewing stormtrooper you see in the opening. Same guy here, different costume.
He's all over this project.
Yeah. Setting up our what's to come, a little bit of foreshadowing.
This bunk is something we built, I think a couple of weeks before the shoot. The binocs.
The binocs are great. Wesley Barnes, a wonderful individual for lending us those. They look fantastic. Probably the most controversial scene of the film. Nothing you can do about it. We still stand by everything we talk about here.
It was, this scene actually has a wonderful outtake there that I'm going to add to the end of this video, where Troy, our main stormtrooper, stumbles and face plants on the ground. He wasn't hurt, it just looked really funny on camera.
Yeah, it looked really good.
Love these transitional shots, they came out really nicely.
Yes.
Ooh, more practical props built by Anthony Vanni. He built basically everything that the Rebels handle in this, as well as some of the thermal imploders that we see later.
This is also one of my favorite shots. Nice little slider tracking shot here going up the gun. The scope, unfortunately, being quite crooked. I don't know how we didn't see that until well after we'd shot, at least. There was nothing we could do to fix it.
It was a wild day.
Yes.
We had our eyes and minds on many different things.
Yes. The dialogue coming up here is really, again, this is where Bucketheads was sort of conceived. We wanted to talk about how, we wanted to make a film from the perspective of the stormtroopers where objectively you can see that they're not doing the right thing. You know, they're morally wrong,
But still believe in it.
yeah, and to them, they believe that what they're doing is correct. They're on the right side of history. So this scene here in the dialogue is really sort of the conceiving point of Bucketheads.
And the funny thing about this scene in particular is that we rewrote all the dialogue for the stormtroopers multiple times after we shot it. And the challenge here was that we couldn't adjust the dialogue of our rebel general here, Lee Shorten, because you can see his face on camera. So we didn't want to dub over that. But for the stormtroopers, they're wearing masks, so you can make them say anything as long as the timing worked out.
Yes.
So it was a really interesting challenge to rewrite dialogue that fits with existing dialogue and works within the timing that we established on screen.
Yeah, and the context and everything. It was a challenge, but we were pretty lucky in the sense that we don't see our stormtroopers' mouths because it was quite a learning experience for us.
And the orange pauldron. The orange pauldron. Thank you, Dio, for lending that to us.
So here again, the good use of sound design, soundscape, and the soundtrack in general, ratcheting up tension. Samuel Kim was our composer, and we pulled elements from Dunkirk. We really found that film did a great job, obviously, ratcheting tension with sound design. So
Yeah, it makes you feel a lot of unease, which Samuel explained this to me. It's sort of these oscillating sounds that weave through that always go downwards, and that just establishes the sense of dread, and I think it worked beautifully. Samuel Kim, our composer, love that guy. He's back for Bucketheads Season 1.
yes, classic Star Wars sound coming up here. A lot of people are able to pick it out. It's not this guy, but oh, there it is.
Wilhelm screen.
Everybody loves the good Wilhelm.
Have to have it.
Yes, gotta blend it in nicely.
Yeah. Now the fight really gets started, and this is an insane shot. We have our guy Jamie in the background running in armor at full speed, which is very difficult to do because you can't see. The kit is very restrictive and bulky. And in this sequence, we did lots of little extra inserts that we shot after the fact just to tie it together more.
And again, ratchet tension is all about getting that tension up.
This was a very tough day for troopers. They had to lie in this ditch for something like 4, 5, 6 hours. I think they weren't wearing their legs, so it wasn't actually killing them. But,
Making it as comfortable as possible, yeah. Here again, another sort of base point when we started thinking about Bucketheads and what we want to do with it. We never, in any of the official films, get to see the stormtroopers use their armor. So we knew we had to build something in this where the stormtroopers really put that armor to good use.
And this is the best moment in the entire film, in my opinion, where Troy gets hit, absorbs the shot, keeps going. That was an insanely fun thing to shoot. And this is Troy doing all his own stunts, including the slide. He really gave it his all, and he absolutely killed it.
You definitely feel the intensity come out. Yeah, it's a great scene.
And here's a great Easter egg coming up. We actually did an engraving, a digital engraving, on this thermal encoder 501 for the 501st Legion, which helped us a tremendous amount in making this film.
Truth.
And yeah, I just wish we could have done a real explosion, but
We had a propane popper all
Yeah.
lined up and some fire stuff, and unfortunately it was just too dry.
they were just like, "You're gonna burn down the forest."
What do they know?
Yeah,
Who are they, anyways?
just the fire department. Ooh, wonderful combination of visual effects and practical effects.
Yes, I loved doing this. I mean, that's any top-end filmmaker will tell you the best use of visual effects is when it's blended with practical effects. So that hole you saw in our stormtrooper's chest there was a physical hole with real scorch marks and things, but then in post we added visually the red ring around it to really sell that it was a red-hot piece. And we actually did have a smoke tube going up into her chest piece as well to billow real smoke out of it.
Yeah, it was a whole deal.
Yeah.
I also love this shot. It's a bit rough, but the idea is fantastic. I think where we track along the blaster to our general sort of foreshadowing what's about to happen. And this is really where Buckethead shines, I think, where we were able to shift the tone to much darker territory.
Yes. Yeah, certainly not something we see all these emotions coming out in the heat of battle and things a lot of times. But, that's the realistic part that we wanted to draw to this. People would get very overwhelmed emotionally by seeing their friends killed or hurt or things like that.
And that here is Chad Rally, our stunt coordinator, who did an excellent job on this scene with Troy Mundell, our hero stormtrooper, Torn Serretta. They're actually great friends in real life, and you can really see that come out in their on-screen chemistry here, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, fun fact that smudge on the shoulder bell here is a visual effect because on the day we just forgot about that continuity bit.
It was a continuity error, but it was fixable. Also, in Troy's shot here, the stormtrooper shots, in the background, I guess off his right shoulder, you see a little yellow streak in the trees, and that was something that we put there. That was light that was painted onto the trees to try and break up just that very dark green sort of uniform look.
Yeah, this was like the end of the day, and we were losing light. It was
a great choice, though.
A race to the finish line.
Yeah, it was a great choice. It does a lot.
Absolutely.
And this is also a scene that we felt very strongly about the soundtrack. Again, I think we used a track called Stardust from one of the original Star Wars films.
Rogue One.
From Rogue One, yeah, as sort of a building point, and we felt really strongly about it and sort of where all the key notes hit and everything. It really drives the emotional impact of the scene.
Yeah, that's where we went back and forth with Samuel through revision after revision just to really make sure we nail the timing, because it's very much about driving the audience's emotional reaction to what they see here.
Totally.
And I think it worked beautifully. It's one of my favorite tracks in the entire soundtrack.
Yeah.
And just this entire moment is really what Bucketheads is about. It's the gray in Star Wars. It is a civil war, and no one's all bad and all good.
Mm-hmm.
And just this, we had lots of speculation about what the relationship is. Are they brothers? Are they friends?
People will just have to watch Bucketheads Season 1 to find out for that.
We are going to incorporate that into the story going forward.
Yes.
This is not the last you'll see of these two characters.
For sure.
And the final shot, it's just such a badass moment.
Yes.
I love how much time he takes to really put on his helmet and disappear back into the mask.
Yeah, and then beautiful end credits here from It's Got Stealth, an Australian-based company. They did
Love these guys.
Awesome job with the title design. Very James Bond-esque. Totally love it. And the soundtrack, or I guess the soundtrack here done by Buffalo Jones, a local Vancouver artist. Who also, we thought...
Fantastic voice.
Yeah, nailed it out of the park. We were definitely looking at Firefly for inspiration for that track.
And Johnny Cash.
And Johnny Cash, yes. Yeah, we also played heavily into some Johnny Cash stuff.
I think the guy track we had in there was actually God's Gonna Cut You Down.
It was, yeah. But I know we looked at Firefly as just sort of that Western, right? Space is still sort of a final frontier, very much like the Wild West was the new frontier as well.
One more thing about the title sequence, It's Got Stealth actually got nominated at the South by Southwest Film Festival, which is incredibly prestigious, that's a word. And they were nominated alongside Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes, they were running against some really big films, so really good job on them. And I mean, you can see how much time they put into this and how great it looks. Yeah, absolutely killer job.
Yeah, and that's Bucketheads 2018. It feels so long ago, honestly.
It does. I think it feels long ago, but at the same time, I know we've been working hard on Bucketheads Season 1 and have a lot of great stuff to show and want to build off this. We see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we want to take it all and make something even bigger and better, but still following Nova Squad.
Yeah, so Bucketheads Season 1, we're going to shoot the first segment in a couple months in September. We're going back to Endor for that, and from there we will build the remaining 5 episodes. And we have a Patreon running where you can support our efforts to make this show the best it can be.
Definitely. We'll put the Patreon in the link to the video, so if anybody does want to support us, you can just go click on it right there. Otherwise, I think that's it for us. So thanks again, guys, for checking it out. We hope you got some cool insights into how we created it and sort of where our heads were at as we were making it. I'm Andy Brown.
I'm Marco Basso.
And that's it for Transmute Pictures.
Have a good one.